What's up, y'all? We are back. This is episode 15, I believe, of the Miami Marlins Out of the Park Baseball 25 series. We're here. It's, September 22nd, 2028. Marlins are 70 and 82. Not been a good second half, obviously. Kind of take this month by month. Got off to a bad start. Had a good May. June is middling. Then July and August were just not good. And then so far in September, have not been good as well. So not a ton to update on. We do have Jason DeCaro up in the majors. His first start was miserable, but the next two were really, really good. So overall, a good start for Jason. Super excited for him. We also have Rodney Green back up with the team. Didn't get off to a good start, but the last 4 games he's really raked. So good things out of him. And to that, we have Xavier Sanoja, who is a good prospect in the Marlins system in real life. I just haven't had a chance to call him up. But I don't know. I just like him. So I called him up, and he's starting against lefties. Luke Adams is back up with the team. No one's really hitting. J.P. Crawford's actually had a really good season, though. But yeah, Jazz went down with a concussion. I believe that's what it was. Post-concussion syndrome. He's going to miss 6 weeks. So he might come back for the end of the season, but at that point, this is probably already decided. We did lose Carlos Hernandez. I didn't even mention him in the last episode, but he was doing well in AAA, so I called him up. Unfortunately, got hurt immediately, so I didn't get to see what he was going to bring. And then Marco Rhea, unfortunately, went down with a torn labrum just a couple weeks ago. So he'll miss all of this season, probably a lot of next season. But yeah, the pitching staff, Luzardo's had a tough second half, or I guess a string of starts. That overall kind of dampens his season because he was pretty good up until that point. Yuri continues to deal. He's been awesome. We are running a 6-man rotation, as you can see. Braxton Garrett has been pretty miserable the second half. That's 2 years in a row. We gave him a little extension. It's nothing crazy, but yeah, we need him to be better than that. His FIP is a little high, and his ERA is about the same. So Hayden Birdsong, he's been up and down all year. He had a good stretch where his ERA was almost below 4, and then has jumped up recently. Overall, not a bad season for him. Casey Mize has been really good. It feels like these fifth stars that we pick up are better than the other guys in our rotation. Because Mize has had a good year. Then we have DeCaro, who we talked about. I finally moved Anthony Maldonado to the closer's role. I don't know why I was holding this off so long. He's been so good for so many years. He deserves this. 2.2 WAR this season. He's been fantastic, and he's been good since going to the closer's role, too. John McMillan's pitched well since we picked him up. Had one bad game. Besides that, it's been a good season for him. Jorge Mercedes lost the closer's job. His ERA went over 4 at one point. Has recovered well since. But that's why he's in the 7th inning right now. Dominic Fritton's gotten some run here, and he's been good. As a former 7th-round pick back in 2024. Finally starting to get some of the guys we drafted up with the team, which is really cool. Bradley Blaylock's pitched well. We've had to call on him this season. Pitched 22 innings for us. Tobias Myers, the ERA isn't pretty, and he's had some bad games, but if he gets the home runs under control, I think he can actually be a pretty good bullpen arm. He is out of options after the season, so we'll have to make a decision on him. Juan De La Cruz just came back from his injury, which was, a partially torn UCL. Then he had a setback. So he's finally back. We'll see what he can bring. He had one rehab assignment, or one rehab game. I think he has a couple option years left, so we're good. Jack Finley, he was selected in the Rule 5 draft by Kansas City, was returned to us around the trade deadline, a little bit after. So we called him up. We're going to see what he can bring. He wasn't horrible for them. I mean, sure, he walked a ton of guys, gave some home runs, but the Ks looked good. The FIP looked okay. So we'll see what Jack can bring us. It's funny because the same thing happened with Xavier Sajona last year with Kansas City. They they let him go like right at the end of the year, and he came back to our squad. So Kansas City just likes giving our Rule 5 guys back. And then Mick Abel, just a second half to forget about. He was so good in April and May. June was miserable, and then August and September. Even July was not good. So, I mean, that's kind of cratered his season. The stats obviously look ugly. I'm keeping him because he has trade value, and he doesn't have options. So, we'll see if we can deal him in the offseason. But I'm kind of done with Mick after a couple seasons of experimenting with this, but just didn't really work out. This is gonna happen. This was in the. Let's see. We gave up. Yeah, we didn't give up. We gave up Brock Vradenberg. He's finally made up with the Phillies. Good for him. Gave up him and Joe Boyle, who looks like he's in San Antonio now. Didn't last long in Philly. Okay, so that's the recap on that. Hitting wise, it's about the same as it was. It's just kind of piss poor after these top couple guys. Jazz was good before he went down, so that's something else. But yeah, it's pretty much been Emmanuel Rodriguez, Jacob Berry, and then J.P. Crawford's come on recently, but he hasn't been a factor really all season. It's just tough, man. It's tough trying to rebuild this farm and trying to win and keep our owner happy. And there's a chance I get fired at the end of the season. So if that happens, I'm going to put myself back on because I don't think I should get fired after winning the World Series 2 years ago. But here's a look at the top prospects. Same with the sources. Did finish strong in high A, so that's a good sign. His gap power ticked up quite a bit. He's looking like a potential player for us. We're going to send him to the lab again this offseason, see if we can improve that avoid Ks, because that's going to be a huge issue for him. Jason DeCaro's out with the team. Eric Spiegel's next in line. Another first-round pick. He pitched really well in Double-A this year, so in half a season Double-A, half a season in High A. Good at both levels. Jonathan Wilson's turned it on in Double-A to end the season, so could start the year in Triple-A, maybe even in the majors. But yeah, he was a first-round pick last season. Definitely fell off after I drafted him, but it still looks like an okay player. So let's just finish out the season. We're not technically out of it. We're 6 games back. But we have this big series against St. Louis, and if we suck here, then this is probably the season. 4-2 win after its 6-2 loss to start the series. Trey Sweeney, a couple hits. Jacob Berry has crossed 30 home runs, 100 RBIs. First 100 RBI season of his career. Jason DeCaro, good once again. So that's looking excellent. Love to see it. Myers and Maldonado are good out of the pen. And looking to take the series, cut the lead just a little bit more. Luzardo on the mound, and we win 8-4. Luzardo, 8 innings, 3 runs. Love that. Giving us a little length. Fritton gives up a run, but Maldonado picks up the save. Rafael, a couple hits, couple RBIs. Luke Adams, it's like he had a homer in this one. It's been a tough season for him. Manuel Rodriguez continues to be fantastic with it. We claimed him off waivers, right? Yeah, we claimed him off waivers. What a joke that was. I don't do that anymore. That was the one time I did it. Also, we have Sonoja at third base because I guess he actually has some infield ratings. I don't know if he's actually good at third, but we need a third baseman. He played a ton at third in the minors, actually. Okay. All right, we have a big series against Colorado, division rivals. 4 games back to St. Louis. Not out of it yet, but the clock is ticking. Looks like the winner of this division might be under 500. We lose 7-4. Let me re-sign my staff if we have anyone. I think I did most of it. All right, let me do this off camera because this might take a second. All right, so it's been a few days. We are miraculously still not out of it. We're 74-85. We have 3 games left. San Antonio, who are the worst team in the league. We have to win out to win this division, I assume. And we can win it with a 77-85 record, which would just be crazy with all these teams that missed out. So there's still a chance. We need to win out. Jason DeCaro, kind of the guy I want on the mound here. Then Luzardo and Yuri if we need him for a final game. But let's do it. Jason DeCaro against Ian Anderson. We win 11-8. St. Louis also wins, so we got to win out. Hopefully St. Louis loses out. Rodney Green, a huge game. 2 homers, 4 RBIs. His WAR is so low, I assume because of his defense. Yeah. He wasn't trained in right field. I kind of threw him right out to right field, so that was kind of my fault. But good day for Rodriguez, too. And DeCaro, a good start. Mercedes gave 3 runs, but McMillan comes in for the save and gets it done. He's been a good pickup. We get 3 runs in the top of the 9th, it looks like. So good deal there. And last 2 games of the season, we got to win out. Luzardo on the mound. Yuri is good to go. I'm actually going to pitch Yuri in this one. This is a must-win. I trust Yuri just a bit more than Luzardo. Well, significantly more. 15-3 win. Check that after. St. Louis loses, so we're not out of it yet. They'll come down to 162, and Jesus Luzardo. Couple development updates. Caleb Wallace made an appearance for the team this year, or a couple appearances. He gets a little increase in his movement. Chad Rogers, our first round pick this year. Probably should have called him up to A-ball. That was a mistake. Oh, he was in A-ball. Never mind. I did call him up. Defense improved. Love to see that. And its gap potential dropped. Okay. Ben Giovanetti did not have a good year in high A, but he'll repeat the level to start the next season. This guy Alexis Casio, he's far along for an 18-year-old, but he gets a development boost in a couple different categories. Devon Coverson, who was a 9th-round pick this year, potential contact increases. Definitely like to see that. He's only 17 and pretty far along. His range did drop, I think, though. Or maybe he was already there. Okay, so enough of that. Game 162. To potentially make the playoffs. I'm not sure how the tiebreaker looks, but it'll be Brandon Sproat for them, who pitched to a 6.65 ERA with, 3.68 ERA with San Antonio, 6.65 with the Mets, against Jesus Luzardo, who has struggled in the second half, but has the pedigree. Let's see if we can do it. Actually, let me check the box score in this game. Luke Adams had a home run, 3 hits. Like to see him end his season strong. Dylan Carlson, low-key, had a pretty decent season. Jacob Berry had a good game. Manuel Rodriguez had a hit. Rafaela finished the year strong after I kind of benched him. Sinoja actually played pretty well down the stretch as our third baseman. Yuri pitched well. Fritton, good job in relief. And De La Cruz pitched in this one, his first appearance on the year. So, Luzardo on the mound, game 162. We win 6-0. I don't think we made it. Nope, St. Louis won, so even with the win, I'd love to see Luzardo end like this, though. As a Jesus Luzardo stan, this is great. I love it. 7 1/3 shutty. But we finished with the exact record we had last year, I believe. Tobias Myers pitched well, and he pitched well down the stretch, too. Jacob Berry drove in 2 runs, Emmanuel Rodriguez a couple of runs. But, yeah, we finished 77-85 last year, right? Yep, same record. This year was a lot closer in the division. Our Pythagorean was exactly the same, so... yeah, I mean, this was a little bit of a different team. We obviously got rid of some star power this offseason with... let's see how Sanchez did. Oops. Didn't mean to put an S at the end. Curious how he did for the Padre. Ooh, yikes. That's not good. Into a 7-year mega deal. Year one already was a massive flop. Were they playing him against lefties? There's your problem. You're playing him against lefties. Yeah, he had a -5 WRC plus. That's how I hit him for all those years. He can't hit lefties. Like it's just who he is. So that's why I didn't want to sign him. And I want to see how Luis Robert, how he did this season. He was on the Cardinals, who won the division, about as well as he ever did for us, which is always disappointing. He's also hurt, which he wasn't hurt too much for us, a little bit, but nothing crazy. Yeah, he never really lived up to that first year, and then the next 2 seasons were pretty bad. So yeah, not a good start to his mega deal either. 6 years, 22 per. So at least that worked out for us. I mean, that's something. Luis Herrera, his power finally went up. He's been stuck at like 35s for the past like 3 seasons, it feels. Did finish strong in high A. Hit 14 home runs, 17 combined between 2 levels. Okay, so I mean that's the end of the season, I guess. So, we'll send the playoffs. I'll do it off camera because it might take a little bit, and then we'll come back, see if we got fired. If we did, I'm putting myself back on because I don't think I deserve to get fired. And we'll be back for the off season. All right, so I think this is the training we're going to go into the off season with. We're going to try to improve Herrera's avoid Ks again. Enardo Watkins, who was our first-round pick this season, 9th overall. Pretty well-rounded overall, so the only thing that lacks is his power, so we're going to try to tick that up a bit. DeSour says we're going to send back to try to improve his avoid Ks. Did not work last season. Yuri Perez going to try to improve his control. He's just walking a few too many guys for my liking, but still had an excellent season. Rosado going to try to improve his two-strike approach. Hansel Moore, who is a third-round pick that I really liked. He has a really good build, 6'9". I think he actually grew an inch since we drafted him, but had a good season in rookie ball. I'm going to try to just get his control up on the level of everything else that he already has. He's only 19, so hopefully that works. It's a medium difficulty one. And then Jonathan Wilson, who was a first-round pick, I'm not ready to give up on. Going to try to improve his eye, just make him a little bit more of a well-rounded offensive catcher. But he played well in high A and double A last year. So still hope for him. And then Fabian Lopez was kind of a fun little one. He's 23, former top prospect. Took a while to get going. And last year between high A and double A, started to do some stuff, sent him straight to triple A. And he played okay, but his defense is really good. I think if he gets a little bit more power, he can be like a legit Arteaga replacement, who is not necessarily good enough to justify his starting spot this season. So I'm not going to say I'm going to trade him, but maybe a move to second base for Arteaga might be in the works. And then Fabian Lopez could have the shortstop job until one of Rosado or Herrera gets here, if they get here. Obviously, their prospects, they might not even work out. Sean Witherspoon is another guy I considered, but he's just too far away to really make any judgments at this point. He did pitch okay in rookie ball as an 18-year-old the last season. Sedena's already pretty far along. I don't really think we need to touch him yet. He's only 19. Happy birthday to you, by the way. Split the year between rookie ball and A ball and completely dominated at both levels. More so rookie ball, but it pitched okay in A ball. Ted Hart was another guy, but again, just too far away at this point to see how he projects. DeCaro is already pretty good. Same story with Spiegel. Maybe next season we touch this if something kind of lags behind or we notice anything. But DeCaro was, pretty sensational toward the end of the season with us in his 5 starts. 4 of them were excellent. Just had the one stinker. So That's where we are. Conrad Kaysen's still hanging around, though. I don't know what to do with him. He's kind of just a really good pitcher at this point. I'm not going to give up on his hitting, but maybe we just give up on the two-way thing at this point. Let's do that. We shouldn't make him a pitcher. Because he has pitched well. And projects well as a starter. Or maybe a reliever. I don't know. He dropped way down. Never mind. I lost him. Andalo Murphy. Another guy that I like, but it'd really just be the eye that I want to work on, and that's not critical for him, I don't think. And yeah, all right, so we're going to go into the offseason with those. I'm sure we're going to have a ton of decisions for arbitration. Oh, yeah. Okay, well, let's pick off what we don't want here. Mick Abel will probably be traded. Edward Cabrera for $4 million. No thank you. Maldonado definitely earned that. McMillan was good enough to deserve that. Mercedes 2.2 is fine. Marco Rea 1.5. That's fine. Alfonso. I always like what he brings, but the defense just isn't really good enough. His catcher ERA was fine, and his framing was okay. I guess we probably keep him around for 1.4. Bailey will bring back. Cape played well toward the end of the year, so we'll definitely bring him back. Luke Adams for 1.8. Sure. Trace Sweeney. It's kind of back-to-back disappointing seasons after a really good start to the year. Doesn't really even hit that well against righties. That could be a position we look to upgrade, but I'll probably tender him the contract. As for free agents, Dylan Carlson wants a decently affordable deal, but we'll probably let him go. He had a decent season for us. J.P. Crawford had a nice year as well. He wants to get paid a little bit. Christian Yelich, we already declined his option. Yeah, he's pretty pissed about that. Trent Grisham wants to get paid as well. Good luck. Carlos Hernandez I like, but he's going to miss a lot of the next season. A ton of minor league free agents. I'll go through those off camera. And then a couple coaching staff things that I want to get done here. So we will. I'll do all that off camera. We'll come back with an update on all this. Okay, so in our attempts to try to retool this team a little bit and bring us back, Braxton Garrett. He's on a very, very affordable contract, but he's fragile. He's 31, coming off a bad season. The season before was also not great. And, he's an innings eater, but that's probably about it. I don't think he's going to repeat these 2 years again. Maybe he could, but we're kind of in some money. We're a little tight for cash currently. With the development where I want it to be and the scouting where I want it to be, we're kind of left with nothing left on the bone. So this is just a way to kind of clear up a little bit of space, but we're also getting a player in return that I really like. 2 players in return. Daniel Dickinson, we got him in the trade for LA, crushed in AA, but just doesn't have a defensive home, not a good leader, bad work ethic, whatever. But the little throw-in might actually get us a good trade here. So Drew Jones is the guy I'm looking at in return. He's had a total of one game in the majors, 3 at-bats. He's 24 now, former, second overall pick? He was a top 5 pick. But incredible outfield range. The bat's fine. It's not very good, but I think he could be, a 90 WRC plus guy with a Gold Glove caliber defense. And he'll at least keep the seat warm for when our top prospect, who's not on the list yet, the guy we just drafted, Inordo Watkins, is ready. So that's kind of my thinking with that. And then we also get in return this guy, AJ Vukovic. who is not a nothing player. I actually quite like him. I think he's going to start at third base, at least against lefties. Slightly better against lefties, but also not bad against righties. Didn't play well this season, but has crushed AAA. It's at least worth a flyer. We just had to throw in Dickinson to add Vucevic to this deal. So I really wanted to get what the heck's his name? This guy, Roseman Verdugo, but when I added him in, they kind of just wanted a ton of players and wasn't really willing to do that. So this will be the trade. Again, it's kind of a one step back to take two steps forward eventually, with the contract of Garrett not being expensive, but we want to be able to develop our guys and dump a bunch of money into that. So that's what we're going to do. This is really tough. Oh, man. Now I'm reconsidering it. I mean, he was a former first-round pick, drafted by the Marlins, played his whole career here, and has had some good seasons, but the last two have not been good. The strikeouts were way down last year. I don't know if he's going to get any better. I think it's just what we got to do. We have a ton of pitching on the way. And I mean, if we take out Garrett, this is still a decent rotation. So it's not like DeCaro is basically replacing him at this point. So, we're gonna pull the trigger on this. Although, see, now I'm second guessing it. I kind of want to keep him. Is there anyone else I would still like to get Drew Jones, but yeah, they want McAble. You want McAble? No one wants McAble. Tree Sweeney. Inching our way there, but what if I threw in Yiddy Kape? He's a guy everyone seems to like. Okay, that moved it ever so slightly forward, but probably not going to happen. It would have to be Braxton Garrett, but I think I'm going to keep him. We'll move salary around other ways. So that was a big waste of time. Because I want to have a really good rotation this year. And with DeCaro in there, Garrett's our 4. All of a sudden, Birdsong's our 5. I don't even know what we do Casey Mize at that point. He was really good this year. I think I'm going to hold on to him for now. We'll see what happens, and we'll come back and if there's another actual trade to do. Okay, so we have our first trade of the offseason. This one I'm really going to do. So we really I'm looking at our lineup right now, just how it's kind of laid out as we have free agency, and there is just no juice at all. So we're going to pull off a trade for a potential, superstar type player. Royce Lewis. He's on the Twins, who were 74 and 88 last season. He's making a lot of money for the next 2 years, $36 million. The Twins will be eating 30% of it, so we're gonna be on the hook for like 25 and some change per year for the next 2 years, which is definitely manageable. He's not a great defender. I'll probably play him at third, but probably more of a second baseman. The turn double place isn't great, but I'll probably play him at third. He was just fine over there last year. And I'm not getting him for his defense anyway, so I don't really care. 121 WRC plus last year. He's pretty much just raked his entire career, as he does in real life too. And he's only 29, so he's still pretty young relative to, superstar players. So, coming off a great year last year. Year before was even better. Has stayed remarkably healthy in the save as well. So the package in return is nothing too crazy. So Braxton Garrett, we're finally going to pull the trigger on this one. I love Braxton, but just looking at our rotation, like we have 6 guys here, and Garrett's kind of expendable, and he makes a lot of money, so it just makes sense to include him in this deal. Yiddy Kape, who is a guy I really like, and has hit decently well when I've had to call upon him, but He's kind of only a third baseman at this point. His range has really dropped off in the last couple of years. And like looking around at kind of what I want to do with this team going into next year, I really want to use Rafaela in a super utility role. Like he has all these positions that he can play, and I never really have utilized it. So I really just want to have him be able to kind of back up every position. And our big hole is third base, so like this just makes a lot of sense. And it makes sense to give up Cape because he's not really going to have a role if Rafael is doing that stuff. So then we're throwing in McAble. Just has not worked out for us. Unfortunate because I really like Mick, but yeah, hopefully he has some good success in Minnesota. This is where it starts to hurt. Christian Lim, who was a third-round pick in 2026. He's kind of fast-tracked through the minors. He's 24. Can definitely pitch in the majors right now. His stamina is an issue. He's only a 3-pitch guy, which is the reasons that I'm okay giving him up. I don't love it, but you can't keep every prospect. Jaron Purify was the guy we got in trade with San Diego earlier this offseason for Edward Cabrera. I didn't talk about this one. Okay. So we flip Edward Cabrera, who they wound up non-tendering, of course. That's what happens in this game. And Daniel Dickinson for this guy, Jaron Purify, who will be gone in a second. And then Kalen Diger, who is a pretty interesting player. Pretty good upside, only 23. Work ethic intelligence is low, but he's made it this far, so we'll see. We'll see how he turns out. It's pretty much for free. So yeah, we got Purify in that deal. Gonna ship him off in this one. Eli Pitts, who probably is the most painful one to give up because I drafted him in 2025, third-round pick. But low work ethic, low intelligence. He's 22 now. Hasn't done anything hitting-wise in his 3 years in the minors. So a guy I'm okay giving up with, even if I love the outfield defense. And then Tristan Beck's just a throw-in. Pitched well for us this season in AAA. We picked him up midseason, so kind of just a toss-in for them. So yeah, kind of a big one here. We're going to pick up Royce Lewis. Super, super excited to finally get a superstar back on this team. And our team loves it, or our fans love it. So do I. I love Royce Lewis. I wish he can stay healthy in real life. It's a real shame, but slot him right at third. He's going to bat second or probably second. Probably second. Give Barry and Chisholm a chance to drive him in. Rodriguez will still lead off. I've kind of poached a few players from the Twins recently. So excited for this. Love Royce Lewis. Did I say that? I do want to increase his stealing tendencies because he does have some ability on that side of the ball. I want to make sure we utilize it. And yeah, Rafael will be used in the super utility role. I think Trey Sweeney's probably on his way out. If there are any takers, he might have to be included in bigger packages on. He's making $3 million, which isn't a ton, but I'd like to save that money. Also, tentatively, Fabian Lopez is slotted to start at shortstop. Arteaga moved to second. I don't know if that'll stay. We'll see what happens in the coming weeks, but yeah, the lineup will look something like this, which is definitely playable. Like this is a major league lineup, and probably I would call it the best one we've thrown out there because we were pretty good without Royce Lewis last year. We didn't lose anyone really besides Dylan Carlson, who wasn't anything special. Also going to try to give Luke Adams the full-time reins and see what he can do in a full season. But we'll have like Rafaela here in case things go south. Also, Andres Valor crushed AA last year. A guy I'm looking out for. He's on the 40-man. I added him last season. And Sinoja is still here. A guy who can play a bunch of different positions. Probably would only put him at third, maybe second in a pinch, but he can definitely play some outfield. And a useful player overall. And Cody Schreier is still here, but didn't do anything in AAA last year to kind of make his case for a roster spot, but our 40-man's pretty open at the moment. And yeah, I mean, that kind of gives us our starting five. We had no injuries last year at all in the rotation. Like, no one missed a start. So if we keep that luck, I think this is definitely a competitive rotation. And we have some guys coming too, so super excited. And we'll keep moving forward. Come back with any updates. All right, so we're here just ahead of opening day. Kind of went crazy and went through the whole offseason. But, it was a big offseason, but we went through some of the major moves. Royce Lewis, obviously, a big one. We did wind up signing Jose Ramirez to a 1-year, $8 million deal. Well, it's 2 years, $8 million team option next year, $1 million buyout. So basically a 1-year, $9 million, or a 2-year, $16 million. I don't think we'll pick up the option. His ratings have already fallen off. His I was at a 60. It's fallen a bit. But he's coming off a good year for Cleveland. He's going to be our DH coming into the year. So he was one big signing. Another one, Matt Brash, picked him up on a 1-year, $8 million deal. Coming off a rough year for Baltimore last year, but the previous 4 seasons he had been excellent. So you're going to hope he can keep that up for us. And then a bunch of minor league free agent signings that I really like. This guy, Jose Butto, he's going to make the opening day roster. Had an excellent spring and gives us like starter depth if we need it. Let me just add him to the 40 while I'm here. Luis De Avila, another guy we signed to a minor league deal. Didn't have a great spring, but he struck out 7 guys in 3 innings. I overall like him. I don't want to lose him, so we also are going to have him on the opening day roster. Jorge Mercedes is back. Ooh, man. His BABIP, what the heck? What happened with this? Maybe this is finally just not developing at age 28. And then Aaron Ashby we signed to a minor league deal. He didn't have a great spring either, but I still like him. He'll make the opening day roster as well. And then Bradley Blaylock's here. The rotation is Perez, Luzardo, DeCaro, Birdsong, Mize, Jesus Luzardo. He lost some stamina in the offseason, went from 91 to 93 to 89 to 91. He's definitely not the pitcher he used to be. And he has 2 years left on the deal, this year and next year. I'm not going to trade him. It's not really realistic. And he's been a fine starter while he's here. That contract, we signed him after 2024, maybe 25, after 25. Had a decent year in 26, and then 27 was solid, and then last year was also solid. So probably not $25 million worth, but I still really like Luzardo. He's in the thumbnail, so can't really lose him. Perez, so close to the control. He was, excelling. Or not excelling, whatever the green one is, not outstanding, but good. He was good through like the whole training session, and then toward the end fell off. Unfortunately, we were working on his control. That would have been great to take that up a bit, but he's still coming off a great season. DeCaro's ticked up a bit. He's looking awesome. Birdsong is finally fully kind of formed here in year 3 with the team. This will be his 3rd full season. It's been solid results. I hope he can kind of improve on that and keep growing. Then Casey Mai is also going to make the rotation. Had a fine spring. I didn't really pitch him too much, but he's coming off a good year. And the lineup, nothing crazy. Bailey will be our starting catcher, obviously. Miramontes makes the roster as a backup catcher. We signed him to a minor league deal like halfway through the season last year. So he was still with the team. Great defense. Not much with the bat, but I think he actually played okay. No, he didn't. He only played 3 games for us. I thought he played a little bit more than that, but he's been a good catcher in our system. So we bring him back. Luke Adams makes the team. Gonna mix in quite a bit, hopefully. We'll see. I've said that the past few years. He's kind of disappointed me at the beginning, so he's on a part-time basis at the moment. Jacob Berry, obviously, back at first. He's coming off a couple excellent seasons, 3 win years. He was an all-star last year. Won a couple of Silver Sluggers at this point, back-to-back seasons. So love having him here. Royce Lewis will be at 3rd. Super excited to see what he brings to the squad. Trey Sweeney had a really good spring. He's going to be our starting second baseman this year. at least to start. We'll kind of see how things go with him. He's kind of disappointed the last 2 years, but was better last season. Still not great though. Arteaga will be the shortstop this season, at least to start. Got him a little bit of work at second. It was a disappointing spring from Fabian Lopez, although we did teach him second. But yeah, he had a really rough spring. I don't think he's quite ready. We're going to give him a little bit of time in AAA. We'll have Rodriguez in left. Sonoja makes the team. Didn't have a good spring or anything, but I like his versatility. He can play a little bit of infield. He'll back up third base. And probably play a little bit of corner outfield, little center field. Rodney Green will make the team. He didn't have a good spring either, but I want to see what we have in him. He's 25. He hasn't killed AAA, but he hit enough home runs where I want to give him a shot in the majors. Then Jazz will be in right once again, and then Ramirez will be the DH. Rafaela is going to be in the super utility role this season. He'll mix in it. He's our backup at pretty much every position. Going to play a lot in center, a lot at second, primarily, and then against lefties he'll play a lot more in center, trading off with Green. And Sonoja will mix in there. Luke Adams is going to play a little bit of left field, a little bit of DH against lefties. And that's kind of where we'll start the year. So, that's that. I just want to make sure we need some more hitters in AAA. Oops. Oh my god, there's no one in AA. Okay. I got to make some free agent signings. I thought I signed enough guys, but we'll be back. I guess I did. Okay, so did all that. I want to go through the training. Luis Herrera improved his avoid Ks. At least his current ticked up. His potential actually went down a little bit, but he actually improved his range as well. He's now a 70 range, so the future at third base is no longer really a guarantee for him, I'd say. He also had a decent spring, too, in limited playing time, at a 46 OPS. Hopefully he can turn it on this year and kind of fly through the minors, as he struggled to get out of that. Nordo Watkins, another guy who really excelled most of the spring, trying to improve that power, and fell off toward the end. Still really like him long-term, though. He'll start the year at high A. DeSources was really hoping he can improve that avoid Ks, but just not happen this year. Yuri Perez talked about him. Luis Rosado did not improve his avoid Ks. Hansel Moore, a third-round pick last year that I really liked. His overall potential went down this offseason, but did improve his control and his control potential. So, still excited for him. Jonathan Wilson, outstanding in his plate discipline. Ticked up his eye, current and potential. He's looking like a legit player now. He's played a few games for AAA this year, hasn't done much. And then Fabian Lopez improved his power, allegedly. Went up from 35 to 40-ish. But yeah, still excited for what he could be as kind of a utility infielder type. So, all right, cool. All these guys signed. Let me assign them, and then we'll get into opening day. All right, so let's jump into opening day. We have Yuri Perez in Game 1, Lozardo in Game 2, Jason DeCaro in Game 3, Birdsong Game 4. It's only a 3-game set, so it doesn't matter. So let's jump into it. Game 1, Luis Rosado up to number 6 again. I guess we can go through that really quick. We are the number 1 farm system once again. Herrera 1, Rosado 6. Sedina, who I'm super excited for. He comes in at number 34. Eric Spiegel, number 49. First-round pick a couple years ago. Nordo Watkins, our first-round pick, 9th overall last season, is number 51. David Contreras, who was a international free agent signing this offseason. Really like the speed, the hitting profile. The range isn't great or anything, but we could work on that. He did have high work ethic, but that fell off. But he's number 60. Jason DeCaro, number 65 until he graduates. Sean Witherspoon, number 119. Super excited for him. He was a supplemental first-round pick last year. Tyrese Saintville, first-round supplemental pick 2 years ago. Had a good showing in rookie ball last year. Jonathan Wilson moves back inside the top 200 at number 165. Jorge Castro, inside the top 200 at number 174, and Chad Rogers, what was that? 178. So we have a bunch of catchers in this range. So we're in good shape if Bailey was, to ever leave us, which he probably will. And Ted Hart, excited for him too. A ton of guys in the top 200, and I like a lot of these guys too. So really good farm system. So let's jump into it. Game 1, Yuri Perez, Dylan Lesko. We win 7-1. Really good day for the offense. Royce Lewis has a hell of a game. 4 hits, 3 RBIs. Arte got a couple hits to get the season going. J-Rom, 2 hits. And then Yuri Perez nearly throws a complete game. 1 out away, and then Jose Butto comes in. So game 2, Adam Macco against Jesus Luzardo. And we wait for this. And we lose 6-5. Bunch of minor league free agent signings coming through. And not a good start from Luzardo. Diavila and Ashby do a decent job in relief, though. Royce Lewis, another big game. That's looking like a good signing already. But we lose game 2. JP Sears against Jason DeCaro in his season debut. We lose 2-1. Not much for the offense. DeCaro, a really good start, though, and McMillan, good in relief. Good enough. But he does technically pick up the loss and a blown save. So that'll be the episode. Thank you very much for watching the offseason. We'll be back next time for the first half and go through that. Thank you very much. Bye.